Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'll be doing the AFL tips for round 13, going through round 12 as well. Not the best round for me, but basically an average round. And yeah, so before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So as you can see here, 4 out of 7 for me, bottom 52%, and total score of 68, rank of 345. Yeah, I started off the round really strong. Melbourne, I was 2 points off. I picked them by 19. They won by 17. So that was a really good tip. Then I picked Port over Hawks. I tipped Port by 16. They ended up smoking them. Then I tipped Collingwood by 60 and they won by 63. So another pretty good tip, especially on a big margin game. Then I tipped Western Bulldogs by 11 and they ended up losing by 22. That was just not a good tip. Then I didn't think Gold Coast would win this game, as I thought Adelaide would win by 17, and Gold Coast just, every time Adelaide got close, kept on kicking away. Well, I mean, they did come back, but then in the second half, it was, more in the last quarter, every time Adelaide put a challenge on, Gold Coast would just kick 2 more, basically. I tipped GWS, and they were ahead, like 104-98, and then they conceded back-to-back goals, I think, or something like that, and they ended up losing. So that was really bad. I tipped them by 13, and they ended up losing by 6. And then I tipped Essendon by 26, and they ended up winning by 6. So not my best tips, but we go on to round 13. Sydney versus St Kilda. I think Sydney get the job done. I think they've got Amati and Rampy back this week, I'm pretty sure. So you'll start to see some back to their sort of best, I should say. And I think that will include a good game against St Kilda. I think also St Kilda are starting to drop. So I think Swans by 4 goals. I think 24 points. As you see, St Kilda is I think they're 2-2 in their last 4 at least, and the Swans have won 2 on the bounce against Carlton and against North Melbourne, and I think they're just starting to build something, the Swans. I might be a little bit biased being a Swan supporter in that, but I do think some things are starting to click again for the Swans. Then you've got Western Bulldogs against, I should be writing this down, but I might have to go back onto the video and if I cannot find a pen with me, no. So I have to go back onto this video and rewrite down the tips that I made. I think Port probably win this game. The Bulldogs have lost 2 in a row. They lost to Gold Coast up in Darwin, and then they've lost to Geelong pretty convincingly. And I just think Port are on such a streak that I think they can easily win another game. And I think they'll win this one by, say, 10 points. Then you've got Hawks versus Brisbane. Brisbane's going to win this game pretty convincingly. I think it's almost like if Hawks somehow win this game, I will be utterly shocked. Even though it's at the MCG, I do think that Brisbane just are too good in this situation. Yes, you do have Hawks getting back Mitchell and Sicily as well. And we'll see what happens with Will Day. I think he might go back into the midfield more because he was at the halfback trying to, I think, patrol things because they had none of their real kickers, distributors down back. So I think that will help the Hawks out a little bit, but I just think Brisbane's midfield is way too strong. Then you got Adelaide versus West Coast Eagles. This will be a joke if West Coast win this game. I just don't see a way in which they do. I think Adelaide do win this one pretty convincingly. As yes, they're $1.05 favourites, massive favourites. I think they do win this one by. So I said, what did I say? Brisbane's going to win this by 45. I should just get a pen, to be honest with you, and write these down. So 1 second. There we go. That should be a pen that works. There we go. So I said Sydney by 24. I said Port by. Did I say 10? I think I said 10, so we'll go with Port by 10. Yeah, I'm even forgetting what I tipped. Brisbane by, I think we should go Brisbane by Brisbane by like 45, 50 points, so we'll go 50. Then you got Adelaide versus West Coast. I think Adelaide win this one really convincingly. Like, have West Coast even challenged in any of their games? So you got West Coast here. In this game, lost by 46. In this game, lost by 70. In this game, lost by 116. In this game, lost by 50. Is that the same game? And then this game lost by 63. So I'm going to follow the trend and go Adelaide by 55 points. Then you got Freo versus Richmond, and this one's an interesting game. I do think that Richmond had a good, close win against GWS, as we spoke about, and Freo came off their bye, and Freo's in really good form, and I think it's Freo they get this one done, and I think they win by 21 points. Then you've got North against GWS, and I think GWS is in good form at the moment. I don't know if they get back some of their guys, as they've got some like ridiculous 14 injuries. I know West Coast has can barely even field a team, but GWS have a lot of injuries. But I do think GWS will win this game. I think North have gone a little bit flat recently. Yes, they put it up to Essendon, but Essendon played so bad. They didn't really take it up to Collingwood. They just lost to the Swans. They got smoked by Port, and they lost to St Kilda by 30 odd, which was a pretty convincing loss. So I think GWS win this game. I'm going to say GWS by 12, but don't be surprised if North Melbourne win this. Then you got Carlton versus Essendon. How is Carlton almost the favourite in this game? It's going to be Essendon. Yes, I could understand if Carlton, if you had Curnow and Mackay firing, but it doesn't look like they'll both fire at one point. So we haven't seen that point. Maybe it's this game, but I think Essendon get the job done here, and I'm going to say Essendon by 18. Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if Carlton win, because they had the top quality to win, but what I'm trying to say is they have no right at this point to be $1.95, as they've lost 5 on the trot, and they've lost pretty convincingly. They lost by 17 to Melbourne, but Melbourne just played terribly. They lost to the Swans by 26. They lost to Collingwood by 28. They've lost to the Western Bulldogs by 20. And they've lost to Brisbane by 26. So I think Essendon win this by 18 is pretty realistic. Then you have Melbourne versus Collingwood, and this will be a game and a half, to be honest with you. If you go, I could see reasons why. Obviously, you say Collingwood. Who do I think? I think Melbourne will win the ruck battle. I think that's a pretty fair shout. I think Melbourne will have the better key forwards. I think that's a pretty fair shout. Melbourne will have, I think the wings will be pretty even. As you've got Josh Dacos, who's arguably, I think him and Gordon and Martin are the tear-away top 3 wingmen, and on their day are number 1. I think Josh Dacos has probably been the more consistent wing mould guy, whereas Gordon's sort of more of a get into be the 5th guy in the midfield, whereas Dacos has really stayed on his wing, so I think he's almost the better actual wingman. And then you've got, do I think Collingwood's defence is as good as Melbourne's? I think it's pretty much even there. I think with Clary coming back, I do want to tip Melbourne, but this will be one that I probably get wrong. This is a almost, I could flip a coin and honestly pick who's going to do it. Collingwood's been the best side all year, but I think Melbourne is coming pretty. Yes, they lost to Freo. I say this, and they've lost to Freo and Port Adelaide, but those two were so close, those games, and they played pretty badly in both games. So I don't know who to pick, honestly. Because I can see there's going to be 4 or 5 comments. There's going to be at least a comment saying you should have picked Collingwood, etc. And there'll be, whereas I'm probably going to pick Melbourne, but I'm gonna pick Melbourne by 7 points. I don't think this one is more than like 20 points unless someone gets a key injury or something like that, and in the early stages and the game sort of blows open. I don't see that happening. So that's the tips there. I'll submit them. There we go. So that's the tips, and that's the video there. So I'll see you guys in the Cash Cows video, it sort of sucks that it has to be done before teams are out, so it'll be very, very short, I think, as I cannot predict players that come in, etc. But that's the video, and I'll see you guys in the video. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.